we are back for another rewatch of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or Captain America and the Winter Soldier, depending on. That's a spoiler, sorry, but I hope you've watched it by now. But we have the episodes 5 and 6, 6 being the big finale of the series, and we finally come to the end of it. And I think we just actually got word, or like there's a rumor going around that there's now going to be a Captain America 4, starring none other than Sam Wilson, because he does officially become Captain America at the end
Yes,
of the show. He wears his suit with the wings and his everything.
I know you
It's
were
great.
living.
It's
I know you
fantastic.
were
I
living.
was getting my life. No, it was like I actually had like a moment when he popped up and he was flying around and he threw that shield and it just hit, and I was just like, man, this is what I love to see. Like, this is my favorite character. If there is one thing that I think this show has done a really good job of, it is like reminding me why I love Sam Wilson. He is very charismatic. He is very compassionate. He is aspirational in his own way. You kind of like look at him, and not only do you want to be better, but it's like you kind of like want to do it to make sure that he thinks it and like he sees it, and you know that, oh hey, I'm working this out. And I've been up and down on Anthony Mackie a little bit, but I think he really did a great job. He came to his own. He did some really great work in the scenes. I think the episode 6, especially when he gives like kind of like that final speech about the government and all that stuff and the double standards, that really hit home. So I'm very appreciative of the show for that. When it comes to the two episodes themselves, I will say I enjoyed episode 5 a lot more than I actually enjoyed the finale. I think
Oh,
episode
really?
5 was probably the strongest. Yeah, I actually think episode 5 was the strongest of the entire series. I think that's the one where it really came together. I especially love the scenes with like Bucky and Sam and Sarah, and they're like working on the boat. I did think some of that lasted a little bit too long, but just kind of like the way that bond grew, you really got a deeper look into the characters, the complexities of everything that was going on. Great character work. Seeing the Dora Milaje again, they're just everything.
And Bucky,
Um,
Bucky
have
definitely saw what he saw a little something he liked.
Bucky was like, "What's up?" And Sarah was ready to have her white boy summer, for
She,
sure. Like, for sure.
it was good. She was thinking about it for sure.
She was ready to do that. So I really did enjoy that. I think episode 6 also was strong, but I do feel as though it had a lot of the issues that I felt where we had earlier in the series, where some of the dialogue was a little wonky here and there. Again, we made the comment that sometimes it felt like the show was trying to be a part of the MCU rather than like acting like it actually already was, what it already is. And so I felt like some of that came through. I think some of the editing of the actual episode of 6, of like the fight scenes back and forth between like Sam and the folks he was fighting, Bucky and like John and the not the Power Brokers, the Flag Smashers and things like that, it made the tonal shift a little jarring sometimes. Excuse me, and it was just like going back and forth a little too much. Uh, but I will say I did enjoy a lot of the final fights. I think that John Walker did a great job in making you hate him. I won't say too much about his story, like how I felt about him as a whole, because obviously there's more coming with him. As we saw, he was gifted a new suit and named U.S. agent. And the biggest shocker of episode 5, Julia Louis-Dreyfus is a part of the MCU.
Come on, Elaine.
Okay, baby, when I tell you she popped up on my screen, I actually like paused my TV and like just started screaming.
Yeah, I was like, what?
I was like, oh my gosh. So that was like super amazing to see. I was blown away by that. I'm very excited about that. She's actually like a really great character who I enjoy. Um,
I don't know much
so
about the character outside of doing some little like Google searches and stuff. I saw that she was a Madam Hydra stuff, and I told you I don't really read a lot of the.
I don't worry,
Yeah,
I
so
already have
like I
a
don't.
character planning
Okay,
for her.
good, good,
Gonna talk about that.
good.
So we'll learn a little bit more about that then. But yeah, so episode 6. I will say, so in this series we find out that the power broker is Sharon Carter. I
Yes.
will say I did not enjoy that reveal at all. And I honestly don't think it makes sense, because wasn't she supposed to be blipped?
Was she?
She was. I'm pretty sure like we saw or not we saw, but some of the directors or something gave interviews about how she was one of the characters who was like blipped away, and so it's like for her to have amassed all these resources and stuff during this time period where she shouldn't have existed doesn't really make sense to me. And
Because
I
that's a
also
quick turnaround for you to come back and then you you took over Madripoor like that, or in
yeah.
Lowtown and doing all those and that shady dealings and stuff. So
Yeah, a lot of that doesn't make sense. So I did not enjoy that reveal at all. I also just don't enjoy the villainization of Sharon Carter. Like again, and I think we talked about previously how I was really excited for her relationship with Sam to be built up because they're pretty close in the comics, and I was like, oh, I'm ready to see that like on screen, and kind of knowing that she's taking this shift, and it's like we might be going a different route with her, and like going in that Thunderbolt territory.
do you think that that is them trying to give a nod to when she was the one who murdered Captain America in the comics?
Yes, that's exactly what I got from that.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
even her away and like them showing this, and I was like, it's supposed to be like when she was brainwashed, she was doing bad things. It's like I get it, I get why you want to see it, but it's like I just didn't want that yet. I feel like but even so, it's just I just feel like we haven't seen enough of Sharon as a whole, like to really get into her and like get into her mindset and like get to like her character and know her, and she got some cool moments here, but now we're already going like that way, and so it's like okay, we could have had some fun first.
And seen more of her personality before we shifted over to her being the villain.
Yeah, but do you think we're still headed down to the Thunderbolts?
I don't know yet anymore. I'm starting to
Okay.
believe it might be more Dark Avengers instead of Thunderbolts. I feel like those are probably one of the two routes that they pretty much are going to go towards with the MCU right now, in this phase. And originally I used to think Thunderbolts, but now I'm starting to think that they might go the Dark Avengers route. And I think that this might be the way that they introduce Osborn, because when Sharon Carter in the after credit scene in episode 6 talked on the phone, she said, "Oh, this will be great resources for you and the others." So like must be a part of some kind of cabal or something like that. So I don't know if there's multiple people on this and if any of them are Osborn or something.
Yeah. Some Illuminati.
Yeah. I'm starting to think that they're building towards a Dark Avengers team, and they're going to be the ones who are like the Avengers, and they have to fight like the Avengers we know.
Okay. Yeah. Oh no, I would like that. I would enjoy that. Ooh, you think we'll get Moonstone? She had the benefit of being on both.
This is true. She does have the benefit of being on both.
She was the Thunderbolt and the Dark Avenger.
Probably.
I love me some Moonstone. Ooh, that would be good. That would be good. Ooh, maybe that's who Emilia Clarke is.
Oh, I didn't think about that. I saw that they
just announced
Clarke was going to be cast in the Secret Avengers along with Sam Jackson, Nick Fury, and I can't think of the other like bigger name actors right now that they cast.
Olivia Colman. Also very exciting. Also a huge get. Like I love Olivia Colman for Secret Invasion. And so that's gonna be exciting. I know everyone was saying
definitely gonna be Queen Varanki, right?
That's what I was thinking. So my thing was, I know everyone was thinking that Emilia is gonna be Spider-Woman, but I think she's actually gonna end up being someone like Tigra, or who else? Somebody else who played like a role in that. But I don't know. Now I'm just talking about Moonstone because I just want some Moonstone.
Just want some Moonstone.
I just want some Moonstone. I don't know. She could very well be Spider-Woman though, but I don't know. I feel like that's a little too obvious.
I also don't know how the Spider-Woman rights work right now. I think that is with Sony.
I've heard back and forth. I heard that they're with Sony. I've heard some people say that they're Marvel. I have no idea. I mean, I know Black Cat and Silver Sable are Sony, but Spider-Woman's also never really been a part of like Spider-Man's world. So it's like,
which is wild. I'm pretty sure that Sony does have the rights to Spider-Woman because although that she has no connection to Peter Parker, she is like a Spider character. Yeah. So, unfortunately, like I think that Olivia Wilde is has actually been tacked on to do the movie for Spider-Woman.
Oh, has she? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, Amelia's definitely gonna be Tiger then. But even going back to that, getting back to Sam and them, I think. Oh, episode 6. One thing that I really, really loved, everything with Isaiah and Eli and Sam.
Yeah.
Extremely well done. I
Yeah.
love it because A, we just get Isaiah Bradley and we're getting Eli Bradley, so we'll probably get Patriot too. It's like, okay, love all of that.
If I
But
was, I would tell them, listen, I know who this character is. I did my Google research.
I signed
I
the
saw who he's
contract.
supposed to be. I ain't going nowhere.
It's like, yeah, we're here. You got
hmm
me. It's good. But A, we're getting all that, and then B, it's a relationship that we're getting to build on that we never got to see in the comics. When Sam was Captain America, he never interacted with Isaiah. He never interacted with Eli. I actually think that was a big time when Eli had all the red tape around his legal
Yeah.
rights, and so Marvel couldn't use him in comic books. So Sam actually ended up getting a new Patriot, this guy named Rayshawn Lucas, which still gags me that his name was Rayshawn. I could not believe Nick Spencer did that. Um,
Like, oh, let's name him Ray Sean. Like, what?
it was just like, wow, okay. But that characters, unfortunately, like Sam, Luke Cage, Black Panther, a lot of them, and the characters that get wrapped up in with them, tend to get a little bit of a negative connotation sometimes with the writers who get them. There's a lot of respectability politics wound up in that, and so I can definitely see Nick Spencer kind of looking at it and naming this kid Rayshawn Lucas,
Right. And
and
thinking
thinking
that he's doing something good.
it was like this big statement, and it was just like, sir, please don't.
Yeah.
um. So yeah, but that was that. But I really enjoy everything with them. I love them kind of taking Isaiah to the museum and like showing him his memorial and how his history is going to be remembered. And even when they just had the conversation, he's like, you are up there as that Black Captain America. I know they said we would never have one, they can never do it, but like you're doing it. And it's just like, oh, I love this. This is my song.
Loved it.
So
Yeah.
that was
I wished the statue of him was that comic book costume of his.
from
You know what I mean? Like with that like mask
the
around his face or
bandana
whatever.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the bandana. I think that would have been cool. And like his own little shield right there. I think that would have been cool to see versus him just in his like military garb.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that was fantastic that he was like, I want to show you like
Mm.
what I
With
made sure was gonna happen. We moved some of Steve's shit to the side, move it out
okay,
the way,
got it all out.
make some room because we're gonna definitely make sure we have an Isaiah Bradley portion of this museum because you are Captain America,
How
and
did you
I
feel
love that.
about Carly and her end?
I don't think I liked it.
Okay.
I I don't think I liked it because the turn for her to become like this villain was so sharp. Um, and again, I have the Flag Smashers app on my phone now. At this point, I don't think they did anything wrong. And they never really portrayed Carly as this like more sinister kind of person or whatever. I think had they did more of that and kind of shown her, being more dark or
Mhm.
being more of instinct to kill something or something like that, then maybe I would have
Yeah.
understood her being labeled as the villain. But she kind of didn't do a lot outside of, she definitely let those people burn in that um, building when they blew up.
Yeah.
But all
And
of
this
them
is
are
where I say, and this is
killers.
where I say I kind of felt like some of the writing on episode 6 was a little bit lax, especially compared to 5, which did such a really good job at really digging into some of these characters. Even when you think about Sam and Carly and the conversation they had with together in the beginning at the funeral, and they were kind of talking about the nuance of like what she was doing, whether she was right or wrong, and how they operated, and like where do you draw the line between hero, activist, villain, all of that stuff. I feel like so much of that was kind of washed away in episode 6.
Yeah.
And even when you get to episode 5 and she just killed Hoskins, which sends John Walker down this like even more horrible path that he's already on to like Crazy Town. And she's talking to him about it. She's like, "Oh, I didn't mean to kill your friend. I don't kill people who don't matter." And it's just like, what?
Right. Now, I will say the follow up, that line to me was very heavy handed. And
Yeah. It's just like,
like, oh my God. Because when in episode 6, and Carly is like, oh, I didn't kill anybody who doesn't matter. And Walker is like, oh, you think Lamar's life didn't matter? I was like, Okay.
Like it was giving something bad. Like, and this is
We
what I
get it.
say.
I understand the Black Lives Matter thing that you're trying to portray here. This is extremely heavy-handed.
Exactly, and that's why I say that some of it is just like that writing. It was no, it doesn't make sense. And then again, even when you look back at Carly, it's like all that nuance of what you're doing. You're saying you don't kill people who don't matter, or like something. What do you mean? None of these people
Right.
matter. Like, what do you
Hey.
mean? That's the whole reason you're doing this.
Yeah.
Oh, it was,
I
it was.
think that's necessary for them to get to that line of, Walker saying that. So, yeah.
She definitely got the short end of the stick, and I feel, I didn't like Carly in the beginning, from the
Mhm.
beginning. I didn't. She was doing whatever she was doing, but
The character or all of the above?
all of the above. You know,
Okay.
again, I understood what Carly was doing, and I totally get why you'd have the flag smashers at on your phone. Uh, but I was with Sam. It's like we can do this, but you kind of going about it the wrong way. Like you are very much drawing the line between activists and terrorists at this point, and it's like you need to calm down. uh, she was going down the wrong road. Like she was saying, and it was. I got to go back and watch the episode where they were talking because she was getting a little snippy, saying some things. It was like, well, you better watch your tone, little girl. Watch your tone. Um, so we're gonna get into that, but she definitely got the short end of the stick. I felt a little bad for her, and then and then she dies, and it's kind of like, and I get it. Even in that moment where you have Sam carrying her, like, and his wings are out, and he's Captain America, it's supposed to
You
be
look
very
like an
simple.
angel.
It was, it was supposed to be like very symbolic and all of
It
that
looks
stuff.
cool. I won't lie. It looks
It looked
cool.
great, but it was just like, oh my gosh.
He looked like an angel when he was carrying her.
Like,
Because I will say that every scene of him, I thought the costume looked good. There some parts along his chest and shoulders look a little clunky, and I wish it was a little bit tighter on his body. But like the look of it all looked great. I think that every scene of Sam in that new Captain America costume was phenomenal. When he was flying
yes.
around in that whole flight
It
against
looks
that
so
scene.
good in motion. It looks
Oh my
so
gosh, I
good.
rewound that scene of him flipping through and using the shield to like bounce off of and telling the
Everything.
one like hostage in the back like, hey, I'm gonna do this thing and I need you to get to the front to get the controls for the helicopter, and he like flew through it and got the guy. I was like, this is insane. It's so cool.
Yeah, like it was given. It was
Yeah,
everything, and I
but
I agree that I do feel like the suit looked a little chunky up top, but I also feel like most MCU suits look that way in the beginning. I think of like
yeah.
Captain America's first suit, and so even Carol's first suit that she got. A lot of the first suits are kind of like test
Yeah.
runs. So
Hmm.
hopefully by Captain America 4 or Falcon and Winter Soldier season 2, because I've heard that they are shopping around for the idea of that. Next time we see a suit, it'll look good or look better.
I I like I said, I still liked it. I thought he looked
Oh
great
yeah.
in it. Especially I didn't realize this, and you can tell me is this a Sam Wilson thing? He'd love to kick somebody in the chest.
Oh
Like
yeah,
like
he kicks people all the time. You've never seen my? I have a thread. I'm gonna look for. I have a thread on Twitter that is literally just Sam kicking people in both the MCU and in the comic books. It's just literally
okay.
him just like flying down and kicking people.
So that's his thing, is kicking, because he
That's
will
the
kick
thing.
somebody in the chest.
And it's like even he kicks like a helicopter. His leg strength is amazing. He like kicks a
Hmm.
helicopter. There's this one scene, I think it was from Age of Ultron actually, where he comes down and he like kicks these two guys in the head, and it's like, oh, there's no, or is it Civil War? One of those movies.
Mm.
He kicks these guys in the head, and it's like, oh, their skulls are broken. It's like
Was it when he
it's
does
not
that
good.
like kick spin flip thing? Because that was really
Yes,
cool. Yeah.
yes,
Yes. I think
yes.
that was Civil
I'm not.
War.
I'll send you the thread so you can look at the thread. It's an entire little thing of him just kicking people. It's fantastic. It brings me a lot of joy to continue to add to it. Oh, I should actually find some stuff from this show to add to it now. Because he was
Oh
kicking.
yes, you probably get updated. Yes.
Kicking.
He gets a kick. I really enjoyed his speech that he had, with the council people, and it was long. I will say that. But I don't know if it's something that Sam does where he gets on a soapbox.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So like actually during the Nick Spencer Captain America run, like all Sam did was give speeches. It was fantastic. Like it was
Okay.
like it because like all the speeches were very inspirational. They always kind of hit. Like that was one thing. Nick Spencer wrote a really good Sam. I will give him that. Like I know he got a lot of flack during that time, especially because he had Captain America as the agent of Hydra, and a lot of people didn't like
I
that.
thought Hydra
And
Cap was a good story. I don't care.
it was
I thought
really
it was
good.
good.
But you
Secret
know he
Empire
got
was
it.
good.
He did a lot of good stuff. He had a lot of speeches where Sam was kind of like calling out the government on stuff. He had Sam give the eulogy at War Machine's funeral. He had his big like hero speech during Secret Empire. He had a couple of those actually. Like Sam's a speech giver. He talks. He's
Okay.
very long.
So then do you feel like this has been a pretty great portrayal of Sam
Yeah.
Wilson in the
Yes.
show?
100%. Again and again, like I said, this show has really made me appreciate Anthony Mackie as Sam a lot more than I did before, and it has reminded me, oh, that Sam is a character I truly, truly love. He is like my favorite.
Yeah, yeah. I know you are like a fan, so I wanted to take your word on it means a lot more than anybody else's. So you know what I mean? Like you the fan, so like I want to know if they have been like getting him right.
For all the things that for all the issues that the show might have had here and there, whatever, like Sam has been good, and like the way Mackie has grown into his role as Sam has been great.
How did you feel about what they kind of finished up with Bucky and him apologizing to the guy that he killed his son
It was
and
fine.
yeah.
I mean, I think we talked about this before, but it's like I wasn't really sure what they were going to do with Bucky or where they were going to take him anyway. So
Mhm.
I just felt as though, hey, you either give him his peace and like let him really start to live, or you kill him off. So
Yeah.
he
I'm
got
glad they gave this piece.
some peace.
Yeah. Go let him be. He can go be done. He can
Yeah,
go kick it with Sarah.
yeah, exactly. Okay, because she was writing.
Okay. He was. It was really cute to see. He was like, "Oh, what's your name, Sarah?"
Yeah. It's like, oh.
Okay.
And it's part it's like A, he was probably interested in, and B, he knew it was just gonna annoy Sam. So it's like it's
Yes.
the layer. So you
Win-win.
gotta
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
love that.
Um, I think I wasn't expecting them to kill Bartrock at the end. However, I do think that kind of what you said with the heel turn for Sharon, like I think that she shot Carly because she didn't want to get out that she was a power broker. And
Agreed.
she also obviously worked with Zemo to
Hmm.
get the rest of those Winter Soldiers killed so that it didn't come out that she was a power broker. So this
Sharon's a
tells
nasty
her,
girl.
yeah. I wonder if you think she's like triple crossing.
I would hope so. Cause
Mm.
I don't want bad Sharon. I like Sharon.
I don't think I want bad Sharon either.
I don't want bad Sharon. I don't want someone to have to snap her neck. You know.
I could see them doing a triple like, turn thing with her and just
That's kind of
having
what
the
they did with
lifelong Contessa.
That's kind of what they did with what's her name? Songbird, isn't it? She's
Oh,
played like
okay.
triple agent status before. I wonder if maybe that's kind of
I
what
have
they're
no
doing.
idea. I'm not the biggest Songbird fan, so I don't know.
uh, she's fine. She's cool. Her
Right,
powers are pink.
right. Her power, yeah. She's like a Green Lantern, kinda.
So it's like it's sound manipulation. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's her
I don't
actual
think she
voice
can
if
make
she uses it.
constructs or anything, right?
No, I think she can. I don't know.
I don't.
I've read Thunderbolts before. I should go back and read that because I don't really remember. She's not. She's cool. She's fine.
Yeah. She
She
alright.
makes constructs, I think, though, for sure. Screaming Mimi. That was her old name.
Oh yeah. I wonder if
Yeah.
they'll ever bring her into the MCU.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, I think if they're kind of giving Sharon her role as a
Mm.
triple agent that she's played before, then I wonder if that means they won't do her.
Oh, well, that sucks for the Songbird. We'll see. I wonder what they're gonna do with the U.S. agent. That's kind of what makes me think that they're going Dark Avengers because he's mostly been an
Yeah,
Avenger,
yeah,
um, than tied to the Thunderbolts.
yeah. I don't know. It's gonna be exciting to see. I think they'll probably just continue to use him as an adversary. I don't know if I see them putting him on the Dark Avengers.
Mm-mm. You
Just
think
'cause
so? As like their Captain America fill in?
I don't know. I don't know if he deserves.
He doesn't. He doesn't. But I don't know who else they would put in as like that the dark Captain America,
I guess that's true.
the evil Captain America, you know. And that's I feel like they're all gonna have their counterparts
But
there.
that's even if they do like a dark Captain America, because it hasn't always ever been like the Iron Patriot, who was supposed to be like
Mm-hmm.
the mix of both of them. I wouldn't mind that. I
Yeah.
mean, it probably will be John if they do it. Who cares? As long as he gets beat up, because he didn't get like his comeuppance enough for me in this show. I will
You
say
didn't think
that.
so? I mean, episode 5, they would
I mean,
they had to break his arm.
so I will say that episode 5 did feel a little bit disingenuous in the way that everybody kind of turned against him, especially the government, and they disembarked him because that's not what happens in real life.
Okay, that would not happen in America.
Especially like he would have got a Medal of Honor.
Okay.
And
They would have
so
tried to scrub that video from the internet and he would have gotten all kinds of accolades.
and that is one thing I will say I did have a problem with the show. I felt like they when they addressed race and kind of issues of that nature, it was still felt a little PC or just like
Mhm.
relatable. Like I think about, and I hate to compare shows sometimes, but I think about Watchmen on HBO and how they handle like a lot of their race issues with like the government and the Klan and cops and stuff, and it like really hit home for you. And it was kind of like heavy, but it was like, damn, like it's also really good in the way they do it. And I feel like here they wanted to keep it digestible for you to kind of remind you that oh this goes on, but also this is still a Disney product.
Right. Right.
And I wish that there would have been a little bit more reality in that situation for some people to be like, you ain't do nothing wrong. And it's everybody was like, oh yeah, this is so bad, you can't be Captain America. But really, like this is what America does.
Okay. And
Like,
just it's okay to shine a light on it.
yeah,
and
and
not
like it's
not try to shy away from it.
and like really get into that perspective of the other people on the other side and say, oh, this is how we feel about that situation. So I feel as though we play softball with that, and I wish they wouldn't have. But other than that, it's fine.
Yeah. I'm excited for everything that's going to come up going forward with this. I wonder,
Hmm.
the MCU, in my opinion, is so interesting compared to the comics because I feel like Sam was Captain America for like a couple years in the comics, and then it
Hmm.
reverted back.
Hmm.
Um, there's no reverting back in this because
Okay.
time exists and Steve is dead. So like,
Okay.
you know, uh,
So he's
where do you
Cap.
go from here? He's Captain
He's
America,
Cap.
so it's going to be interesting to see how this kind of like moves forward. And kind of like we talked about earlier, like with comics and stuff, you kind of wish
Hmm.
that there was a little bit more time in things so like people can grow up
Yeah.
and stories can kind of progress forward. It's going to
Hmm.
be very interesting to see how this story progresses forward
Yeah.
as there's no Steve Rogers to come and take the shield back, you know.
Exactly. Like, and all these actors are on contracts, and they actually get
Right.
old. So it's like they're gonna get to a point where it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to jump from bridges, and like
Right.
do all these things and be attached to all these wires all the time. So it's like you kind of have to go with it. I also kind of hope we get a little bit of that MCU synergy, and Sam can return to the comics in some form or fashion. I really do miss reading about him monthly. I also wonder. I don't wonder. I hope that they would do an update to his suit to kind of give him his own shield back, just for that MCU synergy. Because I like him with it. I liked him with the shield. It's good to see.
It was cool. It was cool to see him use a shield as a thing that he was like as a weapon.
Yeah, it was. Oh, did you know? So Rick Remender, who like spearheaded Sam turning into Captain America, he was posting some things on Twitter about from when he originally did it all those years ago, and he showed the original design that Carlos Pacquiao had did for Sam as Cap. It wasn't the best, but Remender was tweeting about how when he was making the decision, Marvel wanted him to get rid of the wings.
Why? I wonder. You
Exactly.
know what? I wonder if they were trying to do that because they really wanted to drive home the fact that he was Captain America.
Probably, but like that's the problem. It's like he's
Right. That's the
Captain
problem.
America.
Right.
Like let him have his
Right.
wings.
He's his
um,
Captain. Let him have his wings.
but yeah, he was saying that he had to fight really hard to keep the wings in the design because they did not want them. And I was just like, can you imagine?
Oh my.
What would
Yeah.
he have
No.
done? Like it
Yeah.
looks good.
Run around just like Steve Rogers, probably on a motorcycle or something. No, I think him flying is cool.
Yeah, so I was really glad. But that was a nice little bit of information that I got from that. So I thought that was cool. And I'm
That's
glad he
really.
fought so hard for the wings because they look great.
I wonder what other types of design things like that have ever happened for characters. I'm glad that he stuck to his gun to be like, no, keep the wings in because
Yeah,
Falcon
very
needs them.
okay. Sometimes you
Would
gotta have to look.
would be called Falcon if he got a shield in the comic?
I mean, I guess that's fine. I mean, I like Sam as the Falcon. I
Okay.
think I've always said that. I enjoy the Falcon identity. I just wish they gave him something to do.
Okay.
So if he's gonna be Falcon, that's actually perfectly fine with me. But I don't know. Again, I just thought him having a shield was kind of nice, and I would like to see them do a little bit more synergy of showing his like aerial combat versus his on the ground combat, and like mixing that in with it.
Yeah, I agree. Especially after watching this, because like the aerial combat was
He was
with
giving.
the shield.
He was giving.
I'm probably watching it again after this. I'm sorry, it was given.
Zero.
Um, I'm excited for everything that's gonna come up in the MCU. So like this Phase 4 has been pretty great. I
Phase
mean,
four is hitting.
for me, the most exciting thing for Phase 4 is Fantastic Four, but that's not coming until I don't know when. And um, although the next thing after that is probably the Eternals. I'm think I'll be becoming like an Eternal stan, so I'm excited to see
Yeah, I'm
them.
excited. I'm excited for that first Eternals trailer. I feel like we're gonna get that soon too.
Yeah, I think so. Because I think that's supposed to come out later this year. So
Oh, yeah,
we'll
yeah, yeah.
see. Yeah,
That's definitely gotta come soon.
I think it's supposed to come out maybe October or November or something like that. So
Okay, we're gonna get a little Eternal stuff. It's got Gemma Chan, and I love Gemma Chan. She is
yeah,
amazing.
she's great. Yeah. And Angelina Jolie and
Salma Hayek,
like
man.
both of the Stark boys from Game of Thrones.
It's a cast. They're coming, and I think that's been my thing with the MCU too. Now, everyone like gets really excited when they cast like people like Olivia Colman or Emilia Clarke. For me, I think it's just another day now. We got the
Everybody's
talent.
in the MCU at this
Like
point. Yeah.
like we got the talent. Everybody's here. It's cool. It's
Yeah.
just let me know who they are. I actually think it's more surprising now when DC gets somebody.
Yeah.
Like when they got Lucy Liu for the Black Adam movie,
Yeah.
I screamed
Yeah.
for sure.
Oh, no, she's in Shazam, right?
Are they not the same movie?
Uh-uh.
Uh,
See, they don't have a plan. People don't know.
oh,
Yeah, they have. There's a Shazam 2 that's separate from Black Adam.
oh.
Yeah, Black Adam is his own movie with you know,
Well,
Hawkman and
oh,
Doctor Fate and all
that's
that.
soft, man. I was about to say that's really all I've been paying attention
Well,
to.
I'm yeah.
That's all I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I can't wait to see him posting his harness
With that
pictures. Mm.
swing that mix.
All right, y'all. Well, on that note, let's go get out of here. Um, you can find us on Twitter at Another Relaunch. You can send us emails with questions, concerns, any kind of relaunches you may want us to read out at anotherrelaunch@gmail.com. You can find me on most social media sites at Uncanny LZ. Oh, don't forget to find us on YouTube as well. So hit subscribe if you want to watch us instead of listening. You can find us by going to Another Relaunch TV on YouTube. Keenan, where can they find you?
You can find me on most social media at Keenan Lance with an underscore at the end. All
All right, y'all. We are out. Peace.